it's like, what is the obstacle keeping us from putting something right back? Is it not in the right place? Do we need to move some things around? And that is the conclusion I came to. So. Hello guys, welcome back to House of Cramel and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we are addressing a few things. I have decided that my kitchen is not flowing in the way, it's not flowing in the best way. So I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm sorry if you hear the washing machine in the background. I feel like every time I record there is something running, but that's just the nature of our home. We're always doing something. In this case it's the washing machine, and it will be the dryer next. But anyway, we're gonna make some adjustments in the kitchen to make it flow a little bit better. I think I want to move my pots to a different place. I think I'm going to move my seasonings out of the pantry, and I do intend to do a pantry refresh. I am unsure if the entire pantry refresh will happen today, but let's see how far we get, and there may be a part 2 to this video. So without further ado, let me just show you what we're working with and what I'm about to change right now. All right, first everyone say hi to Charles.
Hi.
Okay, so first I'm going to start with this cabinet, and I'll just take you around. This cabinet is kind of it's not the worst shelf in the world, but we have our small appliances in here. Some of the stuff in here we use frequently, some we don't. But I want to move my pots here. These drawers, not working. It's just too small for the storage bags. We need to buy some storage bags. I forgot to get some. I have like towels and random stuff in here. Thinking about moving cooking utensils into these 2 drawers and separating them. Also, this drawer is kind of, it's not random to me, but it's not very organized. But this is where we keep like measuring cups and some of my silicone storage stuff. And I am thinking about moving all of our storage things to an entirely different area. And here's another cabinet that has like appliances that we don't use. Also, actually I use the toaster very often, but it may not stay there. And right now, here is where the appliances, the cooking utensils live. Like I said, I'm thinking about moving these to the smaller drawers over there. And this is where I want to move my seasonings. Here's currently where I keep my food containers. I don't think I'm going to change this, but we shall see. And here is where the pots are. But I think we might be better over here. So we're going to try it. That's just cleaning stuff under the sink. Here's a utensil drawer. I don't think I'm going to change this. Eating utensils will remain right here. And honestly, this is where I keep a KitchenAid mixer that I never, ever, ever use. I may be giving that back to my sister. So we'll see. And here is, okay, so this is the drink counter that I just reconfigured. You see, guys, it's not looking too bad. We've been using it today, but ultimately, if I just put some things back, we're still looking pretty clean over here. But in this drawer is a nightmare of medicines. Won't open it all because some of our prescriptions are there. The boys, like bowls, plates, and eating utensils are in this drawer. I'm not exactly sure it's going to stay here. We'll see. And my tea drawer is just overgrown. There's so many teas in here that I don't use. But, so I may repurpose this drawer. And also this drawer is a catch-all miscellaneous, don't know what's going on in here drawer. So I even have some of the containers that I'm not using right now in here, so maybe we'll be able to get some use out of these other containers. Camden hasn't drunk bottles in almost 2 years. Well, a year, sorry. Formula for sure not, so I don't even know why I still have those. But yeah, one last area, guys. So this drawer is on the outside of my cabinet set here. And this is where I'm thinking about putting, oh yeah. So here we have produce containers that I'm not using and cups. It is crazy in here. But and I find myself needing more cups all the time. So I think I want to put this in an area that is more convenient for us, and put some of the small appliances that we don't use as much in this area. So yeah, I'm going to start here and take everything out. Alright guys, so you see I got my work cut out for me. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so that's one cabinet down. I'm definitely going to edit down some of my cups, because there's some we haven't touched in a long time. So you'll see that collection go down. And now I'm going to go ahead and move. I'm going to go through the small appliances and place those over there and see where we land. So ooh, a little bit of why am I doing this now is creeping up in me, but we're too far gone now to stop. So I'm going to keep going. We have a little bit of, got my little electrolyte water. Stay hydrated, people. But all in all, it's not that bad. So I have two sections cleared out now. I'm going to fill these cabinets with what I want to be in there, so that I feel a little bit accomplished in the middle of all of this. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, why are you doing this? You could be resting. My boys are asleep. So that's the reason why I'm questioning why I'm doing this right now, but also why I know I'm doing this right now. Mothers know. So let's keep going. I'm going to clean out the small appliances area. It's a little bit dirtier than the other counter, and then I'm going to move the pots in here. Let's do it. Guys, so got those cabinets cleared, and I didn't have the camera on when I started cleaning under that cabinet, but I did use some spray cleaner. I showed y'all a little bit while I was wiping. So while I was doing that, I was like, I need like a pot and pan organizer. I could throw these in there, but let's try to do it a little bit better. So we're gonna take a quick break and run to Home Goods to see if they have something for us to help with this. Fingers crossed, because you know, is that how you crossed fingers? Home Goods is kind of a mixed bag, but they do have a lot of organization stuff, and I really don't feel like going into a Walmart or Target on a Sunday. So we're gonna go to Home Goods and see what we can find. Let's go. All right, y'all. We were successful, a little too successful. I found what I needed. I got a couple extras, but I didn't go too crazy. So let's get back into it. This is what I found at Home Goods. This cost me $20. It say it's regularly $30 wherever it's sold, but it's just called a kitchen organizing rack by the company Gourmet Kitchen. So it's like a brass color. Honestly, I would have went for something black or something simple. So we're gonna try these. Hopefully, let's see. It'll suck if the pan don't fit. It's the smallest one I have. I mean, kind of expect that to fit. Y'all. I mean, this is why we try things, and if we fail, it's fine. So these pot or whatever board, they're multi-purpose, but they can be used for cutting boards, pans, pot lids, and baking pans. It's not going to work for me. It's not working with the space. It doesn't fit under the shelf that's in this cabinet, and it also doesn't allow for too much clearance for the pan lids when it's on the top shelf. So I'm going to have to take those back. I won't be taking them back today. I'll take them back to... I gotta go to the office tomorrow. I'll take it back at some point tomorrow. But the good thing is we do have space just for the pots and pans as they are right now, and we have space for something else too. So I'm just kind of thinking I'm gonna keep this in mind as I keep going with this project. And yeah, let's keep going because I got a lot of stuff out here. Somebody's up from their nap. Yep. Oh. Alright, y'all. So I continue to work. I will show you what that other cabinet looks like at the end of the video. So make sure you stay tuned. Progress that we've made. I have now emptied this cabinet. And honestly, Camden, I emptied that one. Camden. Oh, you want me to put it? Sorry, we have to take a Camden break. You gotta let it stay like that. Are you gonna say hi? Are you gonna sing? Can you say hello?
Hey,
Okay. All right, so you see we're gonna have to work a little bit differently now because Camden is awake. So you might not see as much of the process, but I've cleared that cabinet and cleaned it out. It might not change that much because what I had in there was my toaster, which I use very often, our waffle maker. Well, I can show you that. They're right here. I use these two appliances very often, so they may stay here. I also have a coffee maker. Neither Chuck or I drink coffee, but I bought this for when I have our parents over because they drink coffee, and sometimes my aunts, they've been over here on occasion, and whenever we're doing something, I know they like coffee. So I bought this coffee maker for that reason, but I may not keep it up here in favor of making, sorry y'all, Camden is pulling on the camera. In favor of just because we don't use it all the time. So it may go downstairs in the basement and I may just seal the box, or I may keep it up here. We'll see what happens. I also have this mixer set. I've never used that before. I bought it thinking that it was a blender, like a blending stick, but when I got it, I don't know why the box didn't give me a clue, but it's like a whole mixer and blender. So I thought I may use it in the future, but I haven't. So I'm not going to get rid of it as of today, but I may put it downstairs. Hello guys, I am back. It is a full week later, so it's the next weekend and I am back at it. I had to just come to a complete pause. I just could not finish with the boys running around and I couldn't think through what I needed to do. And so I'm back at it this morning and I'm super excited because I have found solutions to kind of where I got stuck last week. And also, this is your sign to don't think you have to finish these huge projects in one day. Like that can be too overwhelming, especially when you're trying to reorganize every cabinet in the kitchen. So yeah, or most of them anyway. So I don't feel bad about it and I'm actually really happy that I took a break, kind of tuck things away. The kitchen hasn't been the cleanest throughout the week, but yeah, it's just us here and I'd rather take the time to think through it than rush through it. So this morning I had an epiphany and I just kind of started thinking about the cabinets in a slightly updated way, and it's basically which cabinet is working the hardest for me and which isn't. And when I started to think about that, I kind of got a renewed focus on what I needed to update. So a couple cabinets I felt like aren't working as hard as they could be, or is one of the new cabinets that I have just reorganized, and that's where I put the pots and pans. There's still a ton of space in here. Another area that I feel like is not working as hard, hold please, the battery is going dead. All right, we're back. So here's another cabinet that I just kind of don't think is working very hard for the space. Like I got some, yeah, and I probably showed this at the beginning of the video. So long story short, we're going to move some things out of here, add some things to the pots and pans drawer. Camden is up, y'all, he's watching cartoons, and make this space work a bit more for us. And I think this is where I am going to place our tumblers and Stanleys and things of that nature, because I need a taller space so I can move this shelf and just kind of make this work a bit better for us. All right, so I'm gonna get started again. Let's go. Alright, so here's where I'm at with this stuff. I'm liking where this is going. I even added my husband's blender bottles here because we have space, and it feels like we've needed to use this for this anyway. And I'm adding the kids cups and tumblers up here as well, and I'm going to find a new place for these two items. There's a couple things I'm getting rid of. These were up there, but they never should have went there. I feel like they ended up there after some sort of event we had. Charles and I already discussed not really liking this version of a salad spinner, so we're going to get another one. And when we get another one, we want a slightly smaller one, and one that you don't have to spin at the top. I kind of want one that pumps. They sell them a dime a dozen at Home Goods, but when we get that one, it will go in another space that is not up there. And I'm putting this somewhere new, and I'm putting this somewhere new. And I am getting rid of these 3 items. These will be donated. These were cute when I saw them at the store, but they're kind of flimsy, and but we never use them. So I'm going to go ahead and donate these because we don't use them. Hello guys. All right, so we have finally reached the tour portion of this video. I know you guys saw me do a lot of the prep work, and to be quite honest, I stopped recording yesterday because of course when the kids get up from the nap, things kind of change. It gets difficult to record and complete the task at the same time, but I wanted to go ahead and finish. I felt like you got the gist of what I was doing, and I recorded a lot of the process, so there's not a ton that you missed, but there are a few small surprises that you didn't see me execute. So without further ado, let me show you how I rearranged the cabinets in my kitchen to be a more functional space. Let's remember that we're not, or in case I didn't say, I was not going for a home edit look, although I appreciate a good home edit aesthetic organization process. But because that wasn't the goal today, although some things might look a little bit aesthetic, but I was going for function and flow here. And I don't think my kitchen was entirely that bad, but I started to feel like in a lot of spaces in my house that we'll go through in other videos, I'm starting to feel overcome by stuff and things, and it's hard to find home for things, and it just wasn't flowing. And even though like I love to blame my husband for like not doing certain things or not putting certain things back, but honestly that is not always the issue. It might have been the flow of the kitchen. So I started to think, why is it that we might not, and it's not also, he's not the only one that doesn't put all things back all the time, or it's like, what is the obstacle keeping us from putting something right back? Is it not in the right place? Do we need to move some things around? And that is the conclusion I came to. So like I said, let's get into it. I am going to start from the left to the further side of the kitchen, and you'll see what I've done. So let's start with the drawers on the further side of the kitchen next to the stove. I wanted to move and this project all started because I wanted to move the seasonings out of the pantry and into one of the drawers in the kitchen, so that when we're cooking, it's easy to just pull out a drawer, pull out a seasoning, not go in the pantry and go to the top drawer and just pull it out. It was in a tiny space there, but it wasn't functional enough. So that's how all of this started. But when I moved the seasonings into the drawer, well, where were the things in that drawer going to go to? Those items were our cooking utensils. So we're talking spatulas, spoons, kitchen shears, specialty types of knives, the pizza cutter. I had a big drawer with that, and you saw that at the beginning of this video. I decided to move those items over to these two drawers here and split them up. So it's basically the same order, they're just split up into two different drawers. I didn't edit much here because we didn't have much excess in these two drawers, but I did pull a couple of things out to put them on the top of my wooden canister that holds commonly used utensils that we use in the kitchen. That has been working well. They're all the same color, it's aesthetic, so I don't mind keeping it on the top of the counter. Moving on to the drawers that are right next, that is right next to that. This drawer used to house storage, my silicone storage bags and my reusable straws. So I have a set of glass straws and a set of aluminum straws, and I guess some silicone straws, and some other randomness used to be in this drawer, but it was the home of this stuff. It didn't really get too much decluttered, but it was a very small space for these items. So I removed that, and I have placed, now it is just for like the wine opener, the measuring cups, the measuring spoons, the pot holders, and cooking gloves. So you see I've put in some what do you call these, drawer organizers, just to kind of help things stay put, and so everything's just not flowing all over each other in the drawer, and it looks a bit more organized. You might hear my boys in the background, they're playing in the family room, so that is what you hear. If you hear some laughter, maybe some crying, I don't know, you never know what's going to happen with these babies. Anyway, So things that have to do with a good, again, prepping to cook are what's in this drawer. So now we're going to go down to the bottom to the cabinets. The cabinets have the pots and the pans, and I did add cutting boards into this space. This cabinet is huge, and the one thing that I see that really limited me here was the height of the shelf. And this shelf in this cabinet, sorry, Camden is dancing. The shelf in this cabinet is not movable, so I was limited a little bit here, and it did become a little bit annoying. You saw about those really nice pan organizers, and they were just too tall to fit in any space in this cabinet. So I ended up using a cheaper one I bought just to organize and have the top stand, and I've placed the pots and pans on the inside. Honestly, I'm happy with it. It's very functional because we know what goes in here: pots, pans, the lids, and these 3 cutting boards that we have. I also added some bundt pans that my husband had gotten from a family member, and I felt like it was appropriate to place these inside of here too, because again, it's like a pot, it's like a pan. We cook with these items. So that is all that goes in here. All right, and lastly, this last cabinet holds our toaster and my food scale. I use these items very frequently, and because these cabinets are quite deep, I kept the coffee maker that we use for guests in the back, and I also kept the waffle maker that we don't use it every weekend, but like it gets pretty used. So I felt really good about keeping it in my more commonly used appliance cabinet. And the last thing I kept, I have 2 food choppers that I purchased, that because I plan on chopping a lot more salads, well, making salads and chopping a lot more vegetables, especially with the summer coming. And I bought these choppers because I felt like it would make things a bit easier and go faster, and also kind of encourage me to keep eating fresh vegetables. So they're in their boxes right now, but they will come out, but this will be their home. All right, next, the upper cabinets on this side of the kitchen. This one basically stayed the same. The only thing I really changed in this was adding my NutriBullet. Again, I want to keep this close, but because it has like a little blade on the top of it, I wanted to keep it up higher. So it's in here with mixing bowls, strainers, and serving dishes that we keep in here. I might get rid of a bit more in here. We usually only use these. We use the things on the upper shelves when we're entertaining, but everything on the bottom shelf we use very regularly. So I may get rid of a little bit more here, but for the most part, this was not a big problem area for me in the kitchen. I always felt like this one was fine. All right, moving on to the middle drawers and cabinets of the kitchen. So we'll start with the drawer. I'll start with the bottom part. Oh, actually, I'll just start with the cabinet at the top. That's probably easier. The top cabinet is now the home of all the tumblers, the Stanleys, the Starbucks cups, the blender bottles. All of that is now in that cabinet, and I couldn't be happier with it. It's been working out very well though. Even just putting things back has been easier. And we use those tumblers every single day, literally every day. And it did not make sense for them to be where now the small appliances are. It just didn't make sense. So putting them in this accessible area where both of us can see them, grab them, they're not falling all over the place. I got rid of a lot of them and I kept the ones that we use the most. And I think me and my husband are both happy with that. We still keep one of the larger and lesser used storage containers up at the top, and that's fine with me. But speaking of storage containers, moving on down, well, we'll get to storage containers. this drawer, the infamous drawer that started it all, is where I keep the seasonings now. So the seasonings are here. They're right next to the stove, right close to our prep area. So it's not, we don't have to go from one side of the kitchen all the way down here to get seasonings. We don't have to think about it all and like put it all here, even though we'll probably do that anyway before we start cooking. It's just all right here, and I just feel like this is going to be a more convenient place. Something I am going to change about that is I'm going to get some type of adhesive, or maybe some museum putty or whatever you call it, to put at the bottom of the container so that when I open a drawer, the organizer doesn't keep sliding, because right now that's my biggest issue. And at first I was like, I'm gonna buy a new one, but I was like, Camille, you don't need to buy a new one. They have things for this, it's fine. So I'm gonna buy some of that. I actually put some in another drawer. There was some little dots, and it's like a skid resistant little dot. It keeps everything from moving. So I am going to invest in some of that for this drawer. But this is how it looks, and I really like it here. And last but not least in that area is all things storage containers. So in this, the top drawer is where we've kept our food storage containers. This has not changed. This has worked for us. I made this change a while ago and I have really loved it. So I kept that there. But at the bottom is new. It's where I added our produce and deli containers. So everything we put our fruit in, the bacon, the cheese, anything we get from the deli, I like to use these containers to store them, and they needed a place. I did do some editing because I have bought a brand new set of these containers. See my kitchen organization videos, I talk about that a little bit there. I had a older generation set of these containers. They worked super well. I've had them for at least 4 years. And through the washing machine, dropping them, everything, they have lasted so long and served us so well. And I ordered some new ones, just really not, I just wanted some new ones. And so I donated or put some of the other ones in the Goodwill pile to make space, because I had bought new ones and I didn't need all of these, because there's only so much produce we can put in the refrigerator using these containers. So I feel great about that, and I added my Rubbermaid clear containers down there with them, because I mean they look like they go together, and we had a bit more space. So that is what's going on in this drawer. All right, let's keep moving down. The next cabinet is where I've always kept our plates, bowls, and glasses. The only difference here is that I have added the kids' plates and bowls to this cabinet. I used to want to just keep this aesthetic and clean and nice, so I had a drawer for the kids' things, but honestly we don't have the real estate to do that. At least that's not the way I saw it. And I'm like, it's a cabinet, it's closed, nobody looks in it but me and my husband, and we can always make it look nice. So I actually did end up buying them new bowls and plates that look a little bit like our existing adult plates and bowls, and they're kind of cute. So I added them here just because I felt like it was time to refresh them. It got a bit mixed matchy and some of the stuff was fading, so I was like, let's just get some new ones. They were not that expensive. So that is what you will see, or that is what you see stacked here. Oh, and I didn't mention in the previous cabinet up top, I added the kids' cups and tumblers also here, which has been working well for everybody except them. They used to be able to reach them themselves, but they couldn't. My oldest could fix his own water, but my youngest couldn't. He would just kind of pick up the cups. He would also do this in the other cabinet and just kind of like put his mouth on every straw just because he was being a toddler, and I was like, ugh, okay. But it's all fine. They're up high now, and if they want something to drink, we will get it for them, and when they get tall enough, they can get it. All right, so next, that's the only change there. That cabinet kept its assignments, and right below it, I did get the KitchenAid mixer out, and I gave it back to my sister along with all his accessories. I never used that mixer in this home. I loved the idea of having a KitchenAid mixer, in my house. But I am not a real baker. I'm not a baker at all. I don't bake a lot of things. I might bake something, but I don't bake a lot. And I have a like a hand mixer with some different attachments that I also have never used but chose to keep, especially since I got rid of the KitchenAid mixer, and it is tucked nice away also in the drawer with the coffee maker, still in the box, still contained. So I feel great about that. But in that drawer I chose to put our glass vases and pictures. We have never had a real place to put our pictures in this house, so I'm kind of excited about that. And so it's glass vases, water pitchers, some other like beverage holders that I got in this gift that I think are super cute. And I have my rolling pin in there. I plan on making bread one day. Yeah, that's another story. I won't get into it here, but I now have a rolling pin, so when I'm ready, I can use it. And I skipped my drawer up here, but this drawer also has always been this assignment, is where our flatware is, and I added the boys' flatware to it, and I got new flatware here. We were unbalanced. Camden didn't have enough of the size of forks and spoons that he needed. He had like one, and the rest of them were like, you saw these little infant spoons, and my baby is a bigger baby now, so I just donated all of those and got a new matching set. And also for my oldest son, I got a new matching set of utensils as well that has all the spoons and forks, and I mean, I guess knives. He don't really use knives yet, but he can, that he needs. So, and I added those to the drawer with our utensils as well. All right, last section for this video. But before we do that, you'll see that my beverage station has changed from just maybe a couple of weeks ago. So I did a little video on refreshing this area. I decluttered it, I cleaned it up, and I switched up the organization tool that we were using there. I was using a Lazy Susan previously, but I added some little acrylic stage like shelving units there that I got from Target a long time ago. But that type of stuff rotates in a lot of places throughout, and I actually saw some very similar items at the Container Store yesterday. And don't sleep on the Container Store. They're getting a lot more cost-friendly organization stuff there that is acrylic. The saleswoman kind of put a little bug in my ear. She said they are discontinuing Camden. They're discontinuing the Home Edit iDesign line, and she says she believes it's because they're taking a stronger partnership with Walmart. I don't know this for fact, guys. There's still quite a bit of the Home Edit design stuff there, but she told me that she believes that they have ended that contract and will be phasing out of that, because a lot of the items are on discontinued pricing. But because there was a sale this week, this is how we even got into it. The Container Store was having a 30% sale off of everything in the store. So she was just assuring me that I would get whatever the lowest price was in the system. So I bought 2 new drawers. Because why? I wanted to move the medicines and everything out of the drawer that they were in. Was not a functional space. Little bottles, medicine was spilling out of the bottles, things were leaking. It was just a mess in this drawer. And although that was the home and we knew where to keep things, it was just messy. So I said, this isn't the home for this. And I really imagined, like I said, I like using the drawers up in the top space in this area. So I said, I'm going to get some taller containers so that the bottles and everything can fit. And it looks really great, guys. And so far so good. The only gripe I have is when I pull out the drawer, the frame wants to come out with it. So I'm going to get, again, they have things that can fix that. I'm going to get some of that museum adhesive or some type of skid resistant dye or something to put at the bottom of the drawer so that it doesn't just pull right off. But honestly, it's a small thing for me. I like the function. My husband likes the function. We can see what we have. The kids can't reach it from the drawer. Like, it's a much better setup. And I've also kind of refreshed our beverage station. So I cleaned up my tea drawer. That was another drawer that was at the bottom that was just out of control, and I threw away so much expired tea, y'all. I only really drink maybe 2 to 3 different types of teas, and I just kept buying those while these old teas just kind of hung out in the drawer not doing anything. And who knew teas expire also? So check your tea. It could be expired. I'm talking years, y'all. So I threw a lot of that away, and I have the teas that I drink in a little wooden, one of the little wooden containers I have on the top of that shelf. So that, for the most part, kept its purpose. It just looks a little different. And I took the drink additives, like our electrolyte mixes, crystal lights, and things like that out, and I put them in a little container on top, since I gained some more space because I put the blender bottles into the cabinet. So it's all flowing on its own. It's crazy how that works. So let's get to the drawers. What's in this top drawer? I put our storage bags in this container. All things storage bags, whether it's disposable or non-disposable, they're all here. I also added our kitchen towels. I have never kept a ton of kitchen towels. I just rotate the same set and I wash them, and it's been working for us. So I don't think they need, they originally were in one of the smaller drawers that were closer to the stove. But they're doing fine there, and that drawer is big enough to hold it all, and it looks nice. So that's what I kept here. In the second drawer right below it is where I kept, this drawer is a little bit more miscellaneous, but for the most part it's where I keep straws, cup tops, and anything like straw toppers, things of that nature. So it's a little bit more miscellaneous but still purposeful. And I have Camden's bibs that I'm going back and forth on whether or not we use. He doesn't like them, but I don't have an alternative right now, especially for like spaghetti night. Woo, he needs something. So I'm still trying to figure that out. More than likely those will get donated once I find an alternative bib for him on the days that he really needs protection on his clothes, because stain removing is a real science, y'all. So the bottom 2 drawers, this third drawer, there's nothing in it. I just put the drawer organizers that I'm not using right now in here. That's all that's here, but it's an empty drawer, y'all. I gained an empty drawer. So more to come on that whenever that happens. And the drawer below is just an a much cleaner, decluttered version of the drawer it was before. I took out everything that was just thrown in here because it was becoming a weird catch-all. But I kept the envelopes that I kept down there, which was like recipes and home manuals or small appliance manuals, and I just kind of cleaned up those envelopes, and they are down in this bottom drawer. Woo! Alright guys, that was a lot. Needless to say, this is the end of this video. We have done so much in this video. I really hope it doesn't turn out to be this long, but I kind of know it will be. But I hope it's worth it. I hope you guys enjoy seeing the process and kind of seeing me like just kind of figure things out. I'm not perfect. I'm not here to be perfect, but I'm more than willing to share how I'm trying to make my life a bit simpler, make less decisions, more functional, and just flow, because you know, we're tired. We're busy, we're tired, and we just deserve the steps for life to be just a little bit easier. That is all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you will implement some of this stuff, or if you will. Let me know about the flow of your own kitchen. I would love to hear it. And if you have any future suggestions on what I can improve here. We're community. I want to build a community, and we can help each other. Next video will likely be the pantry, because I wanted to tackle that in this video, but this was a big job and I did not need to try to do it all. You can tell this was in the span of a week that I got to finish this. So more than likely you will get a pantry refresh or reorganization video, because you gotta remember I took the seasonings out and there are some improvements that need to be made in the pantry. Camden is singing. So kind of look out for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.